84 books. And that was like the most I've ever read.
So for you, it was something you enjoyed off the bat.
Very early on, I thought it was a very magical thing. Books allow you to create your own kind of interpretation of what worlds could look like.
What do you see as the purpose of a hobby?
It's not like a secret, but it's like something that you keep like for yourself that maybe other people don't understand. It's like reserved for you to enjoy individually. I do think a hobby can give you that kind of fulfillment.
Like runners, when you're like so good, you just go out for a run. You don't have a goal anymore. And I feel like that's where you are with reading.
Because it's okay if it's just a hobby. Like it doesn't need to be something greater than that. There's so many different ways to look at life and your experiences. And so many lives you can live through just reading a book.
You get to jump on that dragon and fly between worlds. Welcome to today's episode of Trying Very Hard. We have a special guest, our dear friend Raissa. She's our favorite bookworm and thinker. She's a UX researcher by day, but you'll see her mostly spending her time on Goodreads.
She reads a lot.
Yeah.
She reads a lot. So today we'll be spending quite a bit of time talking to Raissa about books, about reading, but also about how her relationship with reading has changed through the years and the parts of reading and performance reading that she tries to resist. And it's very difficult to do that sometimes because we make everything into something performative or something to optimize. So keeping it as like this pure thing that you love is actually quite difficult to do. And I think she's done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Still trying at it.
Still trying very hard at it.
That's all that matters. You try.
How it all started. Was there a book, person, or season of life where you realized actually, I really love reading? Think back to your childhood, think back to your teenage years, maybe your adult years.
I think I have always loved reading ever since maybe I want to say 7 or 8. I remember when our family would go travel, my mom would make it a point to take us to the bookstore. And I think she did that because she wanted time to shop by herself. She's like, see you in 2 hours. But for example, like Borders here in Singapore, RIP.
That was like totally part of the culture here.
Yeah. I used to just spend hours there, and it would even like bring an empty suitcase to Singapore and would travel here, and just for the purpose of buying books and bring them back to Indo. I think it's also because like books are cheaper here, and there's also just a wider variety of English books back then, at least, compared to Jakarta. So I think I would like to, maybe it was my mom who instilled this love for reading, even though I don't think she was a big reader. Very early on, I thought it was a very magical thing.
Wow. And it never felt like something forced. It never felt like a chore. Because I remember actually when I was growing up, my brother was a total bookworm, and he was a kid that you could like leave at Borders or Kinokuniya. I don't know if Kinokuniya existed then, but at least Borders, you could drop him off, and it was the same thing of like my mom would go shop. But if I was dropped off, I'd be like, I have no idea what to do here. Like nothing here is interesting to me. Like I associated reading with like school, So for you, it was something you enjoyed off the bat.
It's interesting because I remember now, there's a very particular genre of books. It was Mary-Kate and Ashley book.
Yes,
I think
we had this discussion.
They have all these conversations without me.
It's just like I said, we have different interests
and Ashley growing.
But yeah, I think I love Mary-Kate and Ashley so much, and back then they had all these like series of like mini books,
and sometimes it's like pick your own adventure where like you can choose like if you want to do this or like reveal this answer here, flip to this page. It was really fun.
Oh, even within the Mary-Kate and Ashley series.
There was a series of choose your own adventure.
Oh, nice.
It's how I got my first Hotmail address. I don't use it anymore.
What was it?
Adventure_twins. I'm not a twin.
on behalf of Yuri and
I will take all their email.
But yeah, interestingly, I think now that you said that, I think when I then grew up a little bit, and then it was high school, middle school, high school, that's when you had to read books for school. And I think that kind of made me stop reading for a while.
Because those were, it was like a bit serious.
Yeah.
Very literature driven.
Yeah, and I don't think they were bad books. I think it's just the idea that you had to read this amount of chapters by this date. Yeah. And like, you need to write a paper on it.
Honestly, you have to analyze every single tool that they use.
Yeah. They used to also make us read out loud in class, and then did you guys do that? Like the popcorn reading where it's person to person, and I would always feel nervous of
rehearse my section
correctly.
I would count how many chapters, okay, my turn is in 5 chapters, and all the answers still in my head. So I wouldn't even
not even listen to anyone else.
Listen or read the actual book. But anyways, I think during school that was when I kind of stopped reading for a while, and honestly throughout college I also did not read until I want to say, maybe just about 5-ish years back when I rediscovered sort of my love for reading as an adult. Yeah.
Because I guess then you're not reading, even in college, you're still reading a lot of I was reading a lot of case studies and then writing papers on that, or in high school you do a language, a second language, history class, this class, there was so much to read. There was no time to read for fun on your own.
And if you're not reading books, you're doing something else that involves some text or
and I think
writing.
The portability of a Kindle makes it much easier to read. You can stop at any page rather than carrying around a physical book, slotting it into your handbag. I pop it out.
Oh, I do wonder if kids these days in their assigned readings, they read on.
I actually don't know.
Is it still physical books?
Or Macs on their computer?
Oh, maybe.
That's not...
But there is something special about having a Kobo or a Kindle. I the readability, the portability.
Which is nice that you can just close off at a page.
Yeah, for me it's also the idea that this device doesn't do anything else other than it's just for books, right? Because I get really distracted when I try to read on my phone or on my iPad because there's other apps that I could be going on, but for my Kobo, it's just for reading. Yeah. So I think that's where the difference lies, maybe.
She also converted all of us to Kobo.
Yes, that's actually one of my biggest achievements in life. I want to say is influencing my friends to buy a Kobo. I think I counted so far 8 people.
You should have gotten a referral code.
I really should have. But Rakuten, not too late to hit up.
Yeah, she'll still promote you guys.
But here I guess in Singapore it does connect to the local library, so it makes reading so much easier too and cheaper. Yeah.
I have one more question about your childhood relationship with reading. What feeling or maybe the word is feeling. If you think back to young Raissa reading and being really engrossed or immersed in a book. Can you think back to a feeling that you had then?
I think just general curiosity about how life could be very different to the life I was living. After American, actually, I was reading a lot of those dystopian, Hunger Games, Divergent kind of books, and they're fantasy books, but it's also just the idea that, they're obviously fiction, but it's there could be other worlds that look so different to my world, and just being curious about what that could look like, and just leaning into that imagination felt quite exciting as a kid. I think.
So there's excitement, there's some awe, there's curiosity.
And I think, back then, during that sort of middle school, high school, so we didn't have, or social media isn't what it is today. I think in social media we don't use our imagination too much. We're just consuming content visually, and I think books allow you to create your own kind of interpretation of what worlds could look like. So I think that was what contributed to the magical excitement of it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Have you ever considered writing? Or like, I want to write my own stories. Have you tried?
Actually, when I was very young, even I think before American Ashley phase, I really wanted to be an author. That was kind of like, when you ask children, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would always say author. And actually, I remember, and this I think contributed to my love for books. My mom and we would write books. So she would like ask me, like, okay, what's the story today? And then like, what do you want this character to do? Actually, now looking back, that was a really kind of special moment, or like phase in my life. But I quickly grew out of it. I don't think, like learning about myself now, I don't think I am committed enough to an idea or a story that I could stick to writing a full book. I don't think I am a writer at this point, maybe.
Doing those activities, it's so important because it encourages your creativity and like your thinking like outside of the box rather than just like following what's given to you. Which as adults we probably rarely think such wild ideas anymore.
It seems too playful and fantastical and like for what?
Yeah,
right? Whereas
but that's
as a kid,
why we read fantasy.
Yeah,
That's
true.
That's like how we.
Monica's judging. Monica's looking over here like.
That's why.
Amanda has no imagination. I do think that part of my struggle with fantasy now is not having been raised in a context, or even like having been like interested, exposed to things that tap on my imagination in the ways that you've just described. Like I feel like everything that I was exposed to was very like concrete, real. And so now when I read a book, I'm like, this is so hard for me to picture what this author is trying to describe in terms of a setting, in terms of like this creature. Is it a like, tell me if it's a dog or a bear? Like I need to picture something.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes they're both.
Yeah. But I would say like sometimes it doesn't matter if it's actually a dog or a bear. Like just pick one and then you can just use that as your imagination, right?
Honestly, sometimes I read a book and then I go to TikTok fan fiction illustrations and they're completely different. We discuss this all the time. We're like, this is not what I was thinking. But it's totally okay. And I think that's why a lot of the times after when you read a book and then you watch a movie, you're so disappointed with the cast or how they interpret things because it's not how you had imagined it or perceived it.
And that's true actually, even for like very real things, right? How they're projected or interpreted in like a movie setting can also be very disappointing, and it doesn't require like that much room for error, as like fantastical things. Yeah, that's true. I think there is something to be said about detaching from the need to know exactly what this thing is, this concept is, this like place is. That I probably need to reflect on. Maybe
Honestly,
I like fantasy.
Why can't I read fantasy?
This is really bothering me. My two friends love it.
No, because sometimes we do read, like we'll finish a book and then we'll discuss it and we're like, yeah, but I was a little bit confused on this. And we're like, it's fine. Like, it'll be revealed in the next book. Or like, it's fine if you don't have such a grasp of every single thing in that book. There's so much going on. Just gotta let go.
You gotta learn to let go.
Just read. Taking back to now, what does your current reading life look like?
It's funny to say reading life because I feel like it's majority of my whole life is reading. I think it's gotten to the point where I truly look forward to my books every day. After having to do my actual daytime job, I'm like, yes, time to read.
Fun fact, she's also a librarian.
Oh, yes. Well, okay, I have I curate a shelf at a library. I don't actually spend my time as a resident librarian.
Small
but yeah.
time librarian, part-time hobby librarian.
Yeah, it's been really fun to kind of share books that way as well.
Shout out to Casual Poets.
Yes, Casual
Library.
Poet Library in Singapore. I think every day I read at the very least, like 15 minutes before bed. But for most days, it's like closer to like an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then weekends, I try to get through like maybe one book per weekend.
Oh.
On average per day, an hour or two is a good chunk of time.
Yeah. Because I think on average, the books that I read are maybe like 400-ish pages. I think I can get through that in like 2 or 3 days.
My mind is
Right?
blown.
But
fast.
Mon reads a lot faster than me, I think.
I
You
think-
read a lot.
But sometimes, I tell you, sometimes like the books are just like skim worthies, and then I just skim and I pull out just the dialogues, and I feel like that already gets you
Yeah.
the gist of it.
This is why Raissa has such specific feedback when it comes to the books that she reads.
No, but like, okay, the last book that we read, I actually took my time to enjoy it.
Strength of the Few
Yeah.
by James Arlington.
Do you guys want to have a moment with that book?
We've already
Because
had
we both really
already
enjoyed
had.
it.
Yeah.
We won't make it later.
Considering you didn't even finish the first one.
I couldn't get through the first one, guys.
No, but sometimes for me, when a book is really good, the way that I motivate myself throughout the day is I finish a task, I get to read one chapter.
Oh,
Oh, it's the reward for you.
It's the rewards. I'll do one task, like, oh, okay, chapter. Sometimes it leads to 2, but like,
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Splurge.
It's okay.
2 chapters is okay.
Sinful.
Ah, interesting. It's almost like I don't see it as a reward. It's just like
Part of
already
life. Yeah.
a part of life. I know.
This is like your bathroom break, your...
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
but
It's the water she drinks, the food that she eats.
Truly. And I do think that to some degree kind of like correlates with my mood that week. Like if I'm reading really good books and I'm like super excited about them, I'm like, oh, this is such a great week. And then sometimes you just have books where it's like
Don't
meh, or like you're like just getting through them, or you're not excited about reading them. That is kind of also my mood that week. So I think it's a very close relationship to my non-reading life. I don't know how healthy that is, but yeah, I feel to some degree like how successful I am in that reading that week is also my mood.
Does it depend on like how good the book is or the mood of the book? Like if it's a sad book, do you then feel a bit more like sad and somber in your week, or is it just like as long as it's a good read, then that's the therapeutic part that helps you?
Interesting. Just if it's a good book. But at the same time, I think I subconsciously don't pick sad books when I'm like I think I am a big mood reader, so I just choose books kind of depending on how life is like. So like for example, if I'm really sad, actually I would not go to read a sad book because it would just make me think too much. I already overthink.
Like you need to be in the right headspace. You need to be ready for a heavier book if you do decide to pick up a heavy book.
Yeah.
Not to put pressure on you or anything, but as someone who is such a great
Too late.
book recommender, what is your filter in selecting what to read?
I try to mix up my genres. So after I read maybe 1 or 2 fantasies, I try to read like a romance book or literary fiction. Because if I read too similar of a book like back to back, it kind of sometimes blurs, considering how much I read. But I don't know, covers, like if we're being real. Also, I guess
You can judge a book by its cover. Like I think my general filter is like I don't like to read below a 4 on 4 rating on Goodreads.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's still a hit or miss, and there are books that are like a 3.6
that are really good.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be better about that, about not using Goodreads ratings as kind of like to
It's
judge.
my immediate filter. I like cover Goodreads.
It
uploads,
is, yeah.
see what it
Like,
says.
but sometimes like if I'm at the bookstore, I'll like pick a book up and then oh, this looks interesting. I'll read the back cover. Oh, this it's up my alley. and then I'm like excited to read it, and then I see the rating, it's like a 3.6 or whatever, then I'm like, maybe not. But then I do think that I'm limiting myself, because who's to say that I won't enjoy that book just because other people didn't? Because similarly, as you mentioned, I have read 4 and above books that I completely hated, right? So it could be the opposite, where I really think every book has its audience, and maybe you are that audience. So I shouldn't stop myself from reading a book that I'm interested in just because other people are, didn't read it so highly.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip, because like with the book that I'm reading now, I feel like I'm sticking with it because it's so highly rated. Even though I keep messaging her, I'm like, honestly, it's such a tough book for me to read. I can't get into it. But also, like, it's a little bit of like my ego. I'm like, if so many people like it, like
there must be something wrong
there
with
must
me that I don't.
I just have to power through, and maybe I'll find what it is that's so good about this book.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll like rate a book. Maybe I'll rate it like, oh, this was like a 5-star, and then I see their rating that other people have given it, and then I read their reviews, and I'm like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a 4-star, and then I'll change my rating.
Yeah.
So I think like just being more confident in just your own instincts and what you like, what you don't like. I mean, you're not reading for anyone. You're reading for your own pleasure. So.
But how long would you give a book to impress you? Because sometimes when I message her, I'm like, I can't get into it. She's like, it's
give
okay.
up.
Just give up. Just change.
Yeah. That's interesting, because I think last year I would say never. I was just like, if you pick it up, you have to finish it.
Yeah.
But I think this year I've become more intentional, where if maybe like 25% in, I'm still not into it, then I'll just
because especially if what changed for you? Why did you decide like intentionality was actually important?
You valued your time more.
I think so.
No, because I think when you are forcing yourself to finish something for the sake of like, I've started it, I need to finish it.
Well, sometimes
there
like
is like an ego element in it, right?
Yeah, I've waited
that's true.
on Libby for it.
Yeah.
Could be anything, right?
Yeah. I've tried to tell myself that maybe it's like not now. So there are books where I picked it up and I like hated it, and so I put it back. And then like some other time in my life where I feel like, oh, I'm in the mood to read something like that, I'll pick it up again and I love it. So I think it's maybe not like, there are some books where you're just, this is not, for me. But I think there's some times where maybe it's just not the right time.
Yeah.
So I think just having more of those experiences have taught me like it's okay to like soft, like we call it DNF, like did not finish. It's like soft DNF book.
Soft DNF.
I feel like DNF is so like aggressive, kind of like in an F1 race where it's like DNF. It's like bad race.
Soft DNF. Okay. Not quite now.
You're putting it back on the shelf. You're not tossing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Although there are books that I have.
Oh, you dislike. You're like, this is not worth having on my shelf.
Yeah. I still have it, but I'm like, I know in my heart of hearts I will never pick it up.
It's a true.
Yeah. I have some of those books, but yeah, I think just being more valuing, like what you mentioned, like valuing your time and just like, who are you? Why do you need to finish this book? It's actually for your own enjoyment. Yeah. But it's not always like I do sometimes still struggle with it. Yeah.
Has there been a book recently that you read a long time ago, and then you read again, and you notice that it speaks to you in a different way because of the season of life that you're in?
11/22/63 by Stephen King. I think you might. It's like there's some fantasy. So it has like sci-fi. It has romance. It's like historical fiction. Little bit of horror or thriller, not horror, but yeah, I picked that book up, read maybe 50 pages, did not like it.
How long ago was
this? Put it back. I put that was in April, I think, and then I read it again in July. So like 3 months later. Yeah, 3 months later, I picked it up again, read it in like a week. It's like an 800-page book.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm normally intimidated by Stephen King books.
Yeah,
big books.
I haven't read any of his other work, but apparently this is his best. So too late. I already started with the. But this is also like his least scary book. Like
Okay.
he's typically a horror writer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like one of those. There's just a time and place for everything, and I gave it a 5 stars. I think most people will like that because like this has so many different genres that no matter what you're into, I think you will take away something from it.
Was that what was so charming about it, or was there something deeper
Yeah.
or something else?
I think sometimes when authors try to mix genres, it's like you didn't.
You're
do
trying
that.
too much.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
pick your lane. But this was so beautifully well done.
Yeah. I'm already
was-
convinced.
Me too. I'm quite curious about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're a rare 5-star reader. For me, I'm like, I like this book.
She's so generous.
Story great, easy to read, got through it pretty fast. I'm like, 5. Good storyline.
Interesting.
Well, you're a lot more thorough.
Can I ask, do you start with a 5 when you're reading a book? Like, is that your starting point and then you drop it down?
No, I think my midpoint is probably a 4.
Okay, so you start off in, like, mentally you're at a 4, and then as the book progresses, you either bump it up to a 5 or drop it down.
So we've talked a lot about your enjoyment of books, where this even came from for you. And I want to talk about, or I guess we want to talk about the trying aspect of it, right? Because it's very easy to make the things that you like something that you feel like you need to optimize. And actually earlier you used the word successful, like a successful week of reading or a unsuccessful or a less successful week of reading. And so we wanted to get a bit into that. Like, what is a successful week of reading for you, and why do you talk about reading that way?
So actually when I used that word successful earlier, I think I have a much healthier definition of it that I'm using now. So when I used it earlier, I think it's like how good the books I'm reading are, and how good it makes me feel, how excited I am to read them, which I think is, you know, there are better ways or better markers of success. I think last year, or I think 2 years ago, when I really started to pick up reading, success to me was a lot about the volume of books I was reading.
That's where I'm at.
Honestly, me too.
That's where I'm
And
at.
the quality of books.
Yes,
No,
like
not
if I
even
find
the
a good
quality.
one.
Just like number of pages
Just
that you get through.
number of books. I think I started tracking on Goodreads, and I do feel like when I track something, I tend to kind of obsess over the data, which is why I stopped wearing my Aura ring as well.
She's staying here, guys.
No, I think maybe you have a much healthier relationship with data than me. But like, for example,
UX research.
last year I read 84 books, and that was like the most I've ever read. And this year I'm, I think, tracking to maybe close the year with maybe 68 or 67, 68. And so it's a little bit like last year I was just consuming books for the purpose of I need to like increase and like see how much I can beat my record. And that also meant I was picking books that were shorter, easier to read, lighter, faster to like to consume, not as challenging or not as challenging, but that also meant I was reading kind of like boring books or books that I've always read, you know, so it didn't really challenge me to that degree. So I think the volume of books was something that I really put pressure on last year, and I don't even know why, because it's not like I'm publishing my Goodreads to anyone. Like
I had no idea.
It's our friend circle.
It's a number that only I know, but for some reason, just even that, I realized this year that I'm gonna track lower, and I also felt a certain way. I was like,
But you've had a much more positive reading experience this year versus last year, despite the volume of books that you have read this year.
Yeah, I think so, because I've been telling myself it's okay to read less.
And the intentionality aspect, right? If a book is not cutting it for you, like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I have stopped reading books kind of halfway just because I knew.
I do feel that sometimes, even if I set a goal, like I have to read finish reading this book before this flight ends, I don't enjoy it as much because I'm like, oh, I'm sleepy, but I'm like, no, you have to finish it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's just like a goal that I set myself. It's just a goal that I set myself. I'm like, have to finish reading this book on this flight.
Yeah, and I sometimes when I set those goals, which I do as well.
I do that for like trips. So like I want to finish a book on this trip, and if I don't, then like
I'm like speed reading it on the flight. I'm like,
exactly.
Or I failed.
Okay, I didn't say that.
I have those deadlines as well, and then I end up speed reading and then like not actually absorbing and into information. Another kind of not metric per se, but like kind of way I'm trying to progress as a reader, which I don't know yet if this is a good or bad thing, maybe it can be both, is challenging yourself to go outside of your comfort genres. I mean, nonfiction is a hard no for me. I discovered that very early on. But like even within fiction, like there are certain genres that people tend to kind of deem as, I don't know, more intellectual or a better use of time or a more difficult and therefore better quality read. I found myself kind of like thinking, oh, I've read like one too many like romance or fantasy books. Maybe I should like pick up a smart book. I would always call it like
something
a smart
that I
book
can
and a
learn
book.
from.
Yeah, but I feel like that's in itself quite you shouldn't really talk about like your hobbies that way. You're not also reading. You are learning something, but it's not for that objective for me. It's also just because I enjoy it.
I actually used to think that about like fiction in general. So when I came into reading, I actually started off, I think, definitely in the nonfiction realm, and then my transition, I would say, to fiction actually started with memoirs and like biographies and things like that. And I remember the first fiction book I picked up, I was like, oh, this feels so indulgent to read. Like it feels like I'm not learning or it's not as productive in the same way, even though I think my first fictional read was like a historical fiction book. And I realized that actually the more fiction I read, the more like you're learning in a very, very different way. It's not even pushing my imagination because I'm not going to the extent of like reading fantasy yet, but in reading historical fiction and starting there, I felt that I was like enriching my understanding of the world and like how people can describe people or different characters in a way that you can't really in nonfiction.
I have a hot take. I actually think the books that are more often categorized as like dumb, less smart, like trashy books, I feel like it makes me think more creatively often to fill in the blanks rather than like books that are too smart, too complicated, that I'm like, I can't even picture it, that I block imagining that off. Like if I am reading to learn, say if it's like a nonfiction book, most often I would learn better from a video, right? And so I feel like you can't say that a fiction or like not so intelligent book is bad use of your time, when really I feel like I'm using my brain more to generate more of these ideas and images in my head rather than like a nonfiction book where I'm not really picturing anything. I'm just like, when I read nonfiction, sometimes what's going on in my head are just like the words rather than images, right?
That's the same with me, which is why like actually nothing sticks because and I think it's like as a human race we've always learned through stories, like even before books existed. People told stories and people drew stories, and I think that's how you remember things. And I would argue that's like the best way to learn is through stories because you connect emotionally with it. You relate to it, or you thought something was funny, sad, or whatever, and then you just remember it more. And also I think another kind of discussion is what it constitutes as learning. Obviously in historical fiction you learn about this history, but even in romance books, kind of like fun trashy books, there are lessons to be learned about how to interact with others,
or how people behave.
Exactly. Learning about yourself, learning
about your feelings,
your relationship with your friends, your family, which I don't know, maybe they are somewhat more important or more like resonant with us day to day.
Yeah, it's very possible we need more exposure to that stuff than the stuff that we would very easily or normally deem as smart, productive books. Yeah. So if we try to learn from reading as a hobby and how reading has evolved for you, and sort of take a step back and just look at hobbies in general, what do you see as the purpose of a hobby? Or why should we have hobbies? What is the role of a hobby in your life?
Yeah, that's interesting because actually before I rediscovered my love for reading, maybe like 3-4 years ago, I don't know if I had a hobby. Like I don't know if I don't think like watching TV, hang out with friends, I don't think I count that as hobbies.
That's all that I do.
No, but like if I were to ask you like, hey man, like what's your hobbies? I don't think you would say, or I don't know.
Calling me out, guys. No, I think it is hard to name your hobbies because I think even in naming your hobbies, there's like pressure to name a good hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like going out to eat could be a hobby, but it's also like a very like, oh, how can eating be your hobby?
Yeah.
Do you think it's right to define a hobby as like something that you could enjoy doing yourself, like with yourself? Time.
Well, you are really in this zone of
Me
being
time.
alone and
Me
solitude.
time.
Yeah, I don't need you guys.
I mean, that's how I think I picture, like, what is my hobby? What do I like to do?
If you had
Almost
no one
like-
to do it with.
Or like independent of circumstances,
Yeah.
right? Whether you're with people, whether you're on your own, whether you're in this country, whether you're outside,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah. Maybe.
Like reading is a pretty constant thing, I would say, for
Yeah.
the both of you, right? Like whether you're here, you could probably read together, even though like logistically it's
You
not.
just be sitting next to
It's
each
just-
other.
Actually,
But
I
people
did that
do that.
yesterday with
But people do
IJ.
that.
I sat for 2.5 hours, I think, at a cafe, and we just like reading 2 different books, and we just like did not say a word together. And then, should we go back? Okay. Just try to
That's so cute.
That's quite fun, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it is about what do you find fun to do, even if it's by yourself. Although, like, for example, like growing up, people would have like sports as a hobby. Like I never found sports to be, you know, fun or particularly interesting. But even then, I just before reading, I just don't think I had a hobby. And then now that I have discovered that it is my hobby, I think life is funner almost because I have this like. It's almost like it's not like a secret, but it's like something that you keep like for yourself that maybe other people don't understand, even though like we do talk about books, but it's like something that it's like reserved for you to enjoy individually. So I do think a hobby can give you that kind of fulfillment. Yeah, maybe irrespective of circumstances and friendships and whatever.
It's like a resource in some way, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're feeling a certain way, it's something that you can turn to that can give you some level of joy, give you some level of fulfillment, give you some level of whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I do also kind of question then kind of what we were talking about before, about how it's very easy for us to think of our hobbies as something we need to improve on. Just with the example of sports, you know, it's probably much funner if you're actually good at the sports that you
get
enjoy.
better.
You want to run faster,
Yeah.
lift heavier,
And then it becomes like
whatever.
goals that you set for yourself,
Yeah.
which is why even with reading, even though it probably sounds dumb, that we set up those goals for ourselves, even though it's something you do individually. So yeah, I do feel like with most of my hobbies, which tend to be like more crafty and those things, I tend to only enjoy them when I'm like good and getting better at them.
Yeah.
But with reading, it's like she's almost reached the ultimate level of
Low stakes.
of like you know how like runners no like runners, when you're like so good, you just go out for a run, you don't have a goal anymore. And I feel like that's where you are with reading. Meanwhile, I'm still
Oh, me
in
too.
the
I feel that
improvement
I'm a
stage.
beginner reader. Novice
We're in
reader,
the
for sure.
on the way to the
No, but I think that's true, and
Yeah.
I don't think that it's wrong or I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of challenge and a sense of improvement and accomplishment in even your hobbies. Like, I think that can be fun too. I think it's a matter of like balancing and knowing when you're doing it for yourself
Yeah.
versus when you're doing it for like the optics or like the, I don't know, this invisible like audience that you have.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe this is connected because you're also read with Raissa, right? And I'm curious.
I
if
am.
You are
You
read
are.
with Raissa. At read with Raissa on Instagram, guys. Has that added any pressure
Yeah.
or has that like made this like I need to finish, like I
Excellent
need to review this book, like it's been a while since my last review, right? I'm sure there's a sense of
Yeah.
that too, right? It's
Yeah.
and I know it started off as a very playful, fun thing for you, but over time, like I'm sure there's some level of that you have to balance. Yeah.
It started off definitely as just like, I'll just, create an account.
Amanda and Monica will follow me.
Actually, it's because I had that shelf at Casual Poet
Yeah.
Library. I wanted a way for people who borrowed my books to kind of like share what they thought about the books.
Right.
So I had post-its there, but maybe it's easier to do digitally. So I opened up an Instagram for it. But very quickly, I kind of saw it as goals again. Like, I have to hit like this amount of followers and this amount of
X number
likes
of
and
posts.
number of posts. I do post every 2 days. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, probably not. I have not posted in a while.
So embarrassing, guys.
And so that's also a process for me to unlearn that in the past
Yeah.
couple of months. It's just like, well, what was this set up for? It is a way to challenge myself because before this, I never even shared recommendations or put myself out there or even celebrated the types of books that I read because I thought, they were kind of like books. But after kind of having that Instagram, then I started realizing, I only got this amount of like engagement on that post.
Yeah.
Maybe I should like take a more aesthetic kind of angle. And now I'm like, whatever, I'll post whenever I want to.
Yeah.
And I think again it comes back to like the idea of the hobby that you have. Does it need to grow into something else? Because I think also a lot of people feel the pressure to even like monetize their hobbies or turn it into a career path, for example. Like I've had people like, if your Bookstagram takes off, you can like be I'm like, that's the dream, but also I don't post enough.
That's how we feel about this podcast.
I just want fingers crossed. I just want your Bookstagram to take off so that we can get early access to books.
I know. I know. But yeah, I think that's, a lot of even like friends of mine who have started off maybe like liking to do crafts, and then people are telling them, you should sell that, and then it quickly becomes something else.
Yeah.
So I think something we should actively try to do is how do we balance, challenging yourself, but also maintaining that love that you have for your hobby, because it's okay if it's just a hobby. Like it doesn't need to be something greater than that.
I really admire how conscious you are of it, though.
That's what I was gonna say. Just in like not just about reading, but like other things in your life. Like when we talk about like stuff outside, it feels like you know so well what you like or dislike, what you want and don't want, with good reasons to
like why you like what you like, why you don't like what you don't like.
Very specific.
Yeah.
It feels like you're very sure of yourself and you know yourself very well. Like the feedback that you give, not on just reading, but like food rec, movies, just random things. Like you're very specific and very good at letting us know what it is that you like or dislike about things.
And I think earlier you had talked about how like you'll read a book and if you really liked it, but then look at the Goodreads rating and you're like, it's a 3, like how that can rattle your sense of intuition or like your conviction and whether you like or dislike I guess in this case that book. Like I kind of see that in your life in general, where like you will like things that like other people might not like and be very like, I just think it's good. Like I really like it and not care what people think. Yeah. Not to be a contrarian either, just because it's like an honest opinion or feeling toward a particular thing. And I think that's really, one, I think it requires a lot of self-awareness, and two, I think it like requires a lot of confidence in who you are. Yeah.
I think self-awareness bit probably because I tend to overthink things. That's why when I hear you say things like, I know myself very well, it's probably because I've been overthinking about every little thing in my brain. And so I think I know myself, and I like to question, like, oh, why do I think this? Why do I, whatever.
This is the exact
Which is great.
Me.
I think in certain categories, you're very good.
I think you are also sure of yourself. The confidence of yes or no.
I think it's whether you care or not. Like there are certain categories you just don't care about, but I think if you care about a category, you do become very sure of yourself, or you are very sure of yourself.
Because I don't think I'm not an overthinker.
First, this is correct, I think.
How great.
So good to meet you.
No, but that's what I'm telling Amanda. I'm like, if I like a book, I'm just like, oh, I liked it. If you want me to put specifics as to why, it'll take me some time because I haven't even digested that myself.
But if someone challenged you, you would still be like, no, I think it's good.
I would still think it's good, but I might not have all the facts and reasons to back it up listed in my head.
To articulate, like, what is it that you like?
And you're very good at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So don't question yourself.
Because
when you recommend a book to me, I don't even question it. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't check the Goodreads. I don't.
That's good.
Blindly following.
Oh, have there been a book correct of mine that you were like, it was okay? Yeah, the romance book.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. I think just for me, it's just like,
okay,
it's not wow.
Yeah.
You know, wow is like Will of the Many.
Wow. Okay. Yes.
The Will of the Many was the book that Raissa recommended that I couldn't get through, but not because it's a bad book. I think it takes a lot of cognitive energy for me.
I must say, I recommended that book to, I think, like 9 or 10 people. And you're the only person who has come back and said you didn't like it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I think it's like I think this goes back to what we were talking about earlier in terms of like being able to imagine things, being able to let go when you can't imagine things, and also like being okay with the length of a book and like how fast or slow you think you're going. Because actually when I was reading, I was like reading off of a Kobo.
Yeah.
And so I had no sense of like, is this like Bible length book or is this like
it was actually
which it ended up being, and that was like a very comforting thing for me. Like when I saw the second book, I came over and I was like, oh my God, was the first book this thick too?
Yeah.
And when she said yes, I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like it is a hard book, right? But when I was reading it, I was like, this percentage number is not changing. And like, I'm putting so much effort into it. Like I'm getting no return. Like what is going on? And I think that was even that was like a difficult thing for me to wrap my head around. Like, I think I'm just such a slow reader.
No, but in a similar way, you deciding like, oh, it's not for me. It's also something like you know yourself well and you're confident with your taste, because you know, hearing that all your friends have read the book and liked it, and you not enjoying it, and you're being like, yeah, I mean, it's just not for me. That's also, I feel like I would like try, like,
even though we jokingly pressure you to.
Yeah.
Just because we wanted
another time. Softening.
I think it's also like just like at this point in time, it's not something that I feel like I want to put effort into. It's like a very hard book for me, and so it's hard to like, and it might be like the Stephen King book for you, right? Where I pick it up in a year or 2 years, and at that point in my life, I'm like, wait, why was this so hard before?
They are making a movie. Maybe that'll
make things so much easier. You guys, Harry Potter movie.
No need to imagine. Visual.
Rapid fire questions for Raissa. Okay. So first one, a book you wish you could read again for the first time.
The Will of the Many by James Islington.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
Last book that made you cry.
Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
What about it made you cry?
It's
Just personal curiosity.
The way the friendships and relationships were built interaction by interaction throughout the whole book, and at the end
It was tense.
it was tense. It's essentially about female astronauts who are trying to be the first female astronauts at NASA. Fictional. There's a love story component, but there's a scene at the end that if you've read the book, you know.
That's a lot. It's
You cried too, yeah.
No, she did not. That's a book that
I
you
did
did not
not like it.
Okay.
I just
Thought it was okay.
it was
That
okay.
sounds like it would be a wow book.
I gave it
A 5.
It's, one of my 6 stars this year.
6. Okay. A book that made you feel seen.
Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. It's a fantasy book.
Interesting.
It's about
What was the character that you saw yourself?
it's about a girl who's trying to be the first female mage in this very patriarchal magic city, but as she discovers, there's a lot more injustice that happens to the people around her. I think it's a very interesting commentary on like allyship and like sometimes performative allyship that I think about a lot.
Interesting.
In yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Okay.
A book that surprised you.
Can I say
Skip.
the same 11/22/63?
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
because it turned out to be, it's a Stephen King
Good
book.
surprise.
Yeah.
It turned out to be the most romantic book I've read this year.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Most overrated book you've read.
Oh, I think A.K.A, like A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Huge on BookTok. I never made it past the first book.
Interesting. Most underrated book or genre.
I'll go with genre. I think anthologies, like short story collections. Underrated by myself as well. I rarely pick them up, but every time I do, I really enjoy them.
Oh, nice.
A trope you'll never get tired of.
Oh, anything academy where they have to like
Okay.
train, like a really
Yeah.
good training montage. You know,
Yeah,
like when the
okay,
main
yeah,
character like it sucks at something and then they train and then
they
they
become
eventually and
The
then
saving grace of the universe.
Of the universe, yes.
Okay.
That's like something that's always repeated, but never will get bored of that.
It's also fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's always very fun to watch.
Even though you know how it's gonna end,
Yeah.
it's still like satisfying every time.
Yeah. A trope you wish would disappear forever.
Love triangles.
Mm.
Never well done. Like
That's
you
so
clearly
annoying.
know who they're gonna end up with, so it's like just wasting your time.
Well, I just feel like in a love triangle as well, you can't empathize with all parties.
yeah.
There's
You are,
always
like,
one where you're
rooting
like
for
so
one.
annoying. Yeah, you're always rooting for one side.
Yeah, and it's always very clear who's gonna be the final couple. So it's like you're just wasting time and trying to convince me that there's something here when we know it's not there. You know,
Yeah.
never will.
Actually, for me on that, like, I think it's also annoying that it's not something that I have control over. Like, even though there's like a
choosing
clear,
which-
like, even though I think there's a clear choice,
Uh-huh.
like, if I were in the position of this girl or boy or whatever, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Were you team Jacob or team Edward?
I didn't read the book. I didn't read the
Well, you
book.
watched the movies, right?
Not even,
Oh,
not
oh,
really.
okay.
Fantasy.
She's not fantasy.
It's not my
girl.
genre.
Okay.
Perhaps you'd be into it if there was like a choose your own adventure.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one love triangle story that I did like was Past Lives.
Oh,
Have not seen that.
I really liked it.
it's okay.
I can see Mom not liking it, but I liked it.
Okay.
It's not exciting.
Okay. First book you ever loved.
American National. But okay, maybe loved. I think Hunger Games, the original Hunger Games trilogy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Book you wish existed when you were younger. The Will of the Many.
Yeah, I wish I had been surprised earlier.
Oh, I did read Conversations on Love by Natasha Len. I
Oh,
the only nonfiction that will make
Interesting.
this episode.
A book that came to you at just the right time.
Actually, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It's the first ever romance book that I loved. And before that, I've always thought, I'm like, this genre is not for me.
Yeah.
I finished that book in like one night. Like I stayed up late.
Wow.
You need to give us context.
Is she? But
Yeah.
okay, so all I know is like some of her books are smutty.
Yeah.
Is this one?
Is that what you were
needing in your life at this point?
Or like what about it? Like what about it like came to you or like met you?
No, I think it's because I really looked down on the genre before, and I was like, oh, that's like such an unserious thing to read.
Okay.
And then I don't know why I picked it up, and then the fact that I was so hooked that I finished it in one night, and I've never finished a book in one night, and I was like, wow, this is so exciting! Like this like I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed this book, and then from then I just started reading.
Because I read one.
It was okay.
I tried reading one.
Yeah.
But it was like high school.
Yeah.
And then at that point, like I can't really relate. Like I'm not at that age
you read
anymore.
the wrong one. Chuck
Yeah,
and Mate,
okay.
right? That's the wrong one. to
No.
read. Oh.
Is it Deep End? Is Deep End Ali Hazelwood? No, I
thought that
forget.
one was very smutty, but okay.
Yeah, no, it is, right?
No,
That's what.
I'm
No,
not
because that
saying-
one is highly rated. So I read it. I'm like,
Yeah.
ew, it's like
No.
high school.
Rated for
Like
the smut.
in high school.
No,
Smut
I'm not
was
saying
not good in high school.
I'm not saying it was a great book, but it was like great at that time.
Yeah.
And I think I needed that to start exploring.
It opened your
this
eyes.
genre, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
fair.
like I don't think I would give it a 5-star,
Yeah.
but it was the book I needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I guess now you properly read this genre of
Yeah.
books and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making a movie too on that one.
Oh, interesting. Finish this sentence. Books make me feel.
I think it makes me feel like there's infinite possibilities.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Like there's so many different ways to look at life and your experiences. And so many lives you can live through just reading a book.
Expansive.
Yeah. I don't think I'm a very adventurous person in real life, but like books allow me to live different lives without ever having to leave my couch.
You get to jump on that dragon and fly between worlds.
That's why you like the training. Cool.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, with
I
that.
think that's all we have for you today. But thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
Thank
This was
you
so
for
good.
joining
Super
us.
fun.
Maybe we do this periodically. Book reviews, book roundups.
Yeah.
Book club.
We'll have you
Very
back
hard
on
book
this.
club.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.